have a discussion on economics. The key question in this branch of our worldview is, what does the Bible teach about economics, about money? What produces a sound economy? What system the Bible approves? In the world there are many systems of economics, especially in India, which is a mixed economy of capitalism and socialism, and where the communists are trying to make inroads into our economical thinking. The question is a very vital one for any Indian Christian, because he is constantly bombarded with the three systems: Marxism, socialism, and capitalism. And then a fourth option is the mixed economy, a capitalistic, economy mixed with our, social economics. So this is a very, very important subject for us. The Bible teaches very clearly that every man has to earn his living. They have to work if they have to eat. But in some economic systems, you cannot choose your own work. Every job is, government job. You have no choice of picking up your job. Whatever they give you, you have to do it. Like in the Marxist communistic system. So you cannot decide whether you wanted to be an engineer or doctor or a pharmacist or a lawyer or anything. The government basically will decide. So the economy is also equally controlled by, by the government. But the Bible definitely teaches that every man has to work. He has to decide what he wants to work. He has to decide how much money he wants to make, and then he has to decide what he wants to do with the money he makes, whether to give away or to save. It's all, the Bible definitely gives guidelines how we must make and how much we must make and how we must spend and all that. But yet, the underlying principle is the personal freedom, the private property, the private enterprises, So that's definitely a very, very key concept. The commandment, thou shalt not steal, is the clearest declaration of the right to private property. Bible does not permit anyone to lay hand on somebody else's property. So that means somebody else is allowed to have his own property. No one else is allowed to lay hands on his property, Otherwise stealing has no meaning, because you are taking something that belongs to somebody else. So human nature after the fall is basically sinful. Therefore the sinful man always has two tendencies. One is to live without working, to earn an easy living. Yes. The other thing is always to enjoy the labor of other people, encroaching upon others. This is there in every human being. People are more happy if they can get a lottery, 1 crore rupee, rather than earn 1 crore rupee by working. People are always happy that way, to get something into your hand for which you have not labored. Yes, people are very happy when they find a 100 rupee note on the road and pick it up. Much happier than when they go and work a day and get in the end of the day, 100 rupees. There is a special something, God has blessed you something uniquely, because you are getting something freely without working. This is a tendency in the human nature. But God in this Bible very clearly tells that, we have to earn, our living by working hard. When the Lord said you shall live with the sweat of your brow, He meant that not only you will work, but you will have hard labor. Hard-earned bucks, people say that. That's the way you should earn your money by working hard, honest, hard work. Bible always, everywhere speaks about this. The righteous man, the godly man, working hard and eating from the labor of his own hand. Producing. That's a biblical thinking. So Bible definitely then encourages the sinful man, though he is sinful, to earn his living. Bible also teaches that man is a responsible being. That means how he earns, how much he earns, what he does with what he earned. For all these things he has to give an account to the Lord. That's a stewardship responsibility. Bible allows you to earn as much as you want. There is no limit. Nowhere in the Bible says you can earn only, this much. You can earn as many as. There are rich people. Even to the Lord a rich man came. He is very rich. He must have got it, from his parents, we don't know, or he must have earned it by doing business. In the many parables the Lord has said there is business. And he always complimented the man who earned. Lord, you gave me 2, I earned 2 more. He said, good, that's what I want. That's what I want. To the lazy person, he had a word of rebuke, saying you should have given my money to the bank. I should have collected my interest on it. The Lord wants everybody to be making. Making money is never sinful. Making money unethically is what is sinful. But yet on the other hand, how much a person make? Well, how much a person should make is a good question. You should make enough for you. You should make something to give the Lord, his share. You must make something to give others, Then you must definitely have something, Bible says, a saving. So how much a man makes is a big question. So definitely God doesn't want anybody to make just enough for them, for their bread and butter. No, that's not how much you should make. Generally say you must make enough for your present known needs. Present known needs. Say a man is married and his wife is expecting, that's a present known need. In 9 months' time there will be a maternity expenses, delivery, hospital fees and child and all that. That's a known needs. You don't wait until the night of the labor pain starts, Lord, I have a need now. No, that has been a known need. You have a daughter. Well, in 2022, 24 years, she has to be married. So that's a known need. A responsible person will be who will wait for 25 years and then tell the Lord, proposal come, I don't have any money with me, Lord, how things will go. I know you are gracious and kind. Lord say, I'm not very gracious and kind. No, Lord say, I'm not very gracious and kind. I made you a responsible being. I gave you this child 24 years back. What were you doing 24 years? But on the other hand, a man who said that he saved 10 rupees every month, very honestly, that's all what he could. At the end of the 24 years, he said, Lord, I have saved what I could in the given situation. I was a responsible father. Only this much I have, but this much is not enough. What will I do? You have to show mercy. God will show mercy on that man because he is a responsible person.
First person trust God more.
I wish it was like that. First person was taking for granted. God will make up for my irresponsibility. That's what he said. It's like the child say, I won't study, but Lord knows answer to every question. See? So the moment I get the question paper, I take the answer book and the paper and I say, Lord, you know the answer. You can put it in my mind. I will have a word of prayer. So the Lord will say, no, I'm not that gracious to anybody. You had a whole year, or you had so many years to study your lessons, you did not. You think that I know the answer? Yeah, I know the answer. But you're not going to be benefited by it. So a lot of Christians tempt God. That's what basically, you cannot expect God to make up for your negligence. You be honest. In spite of her honesty, as I said in the second case, he may have saved 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs and maybe he needs about 10 lakhs for your expenses. He cannot come up with 7 lakhs. He can honestly ask God, you are gracious, sufficient, I have been responsible, I did my duty towards my family, towards, God, towards church and everything. And this is what I come up with, I don't know how, but I know you will help me. And the Lord will help. God is there to help such people. There's a saying in English, God helps those who help themselves, Yeah, God helps those who help themselves. God is not there to help people who are careless. It doesn't matter whether you are Lord's servant, you are somebody who is working full time, it does not matter. A believer ought to be responsible. God made man a responsible being. That's why Paul said in Timothy that, what said that he who does not care for his own household is worse than an infidel. Yes. So these things we need to teach in the churches. Our economics assumes that we are doing what we are supposed to be doing. So responsibility, the responsible stewardship is a big thing. Responsible stewardship. So then we are talking about what is the most desirable economic system. We are living in a society, we are not living in an island where we are alone. We can do whatever we want. Our economic philosophy, we can practice. We were the only people in the world, but we are not the only people. We are living in a society. There is government. So what happens, because there is government in society, our economic principle has to be harmonized with what the government permits, what your neighbor permits. Yes. So we have to develop a very consistent economic principle in harmony with Bible. It should be harmonious with the Bible. In the world, as I said, socialism is there, capitalism is there, and then, your Marxism is there. Then there is a mixed economy, like a country like in India, socialism plus capitalism, which is the correct economy? That's a question that we discuss in economics. The most desirable economic system definitely promotes the right to work. Whatever system you belong to, that system must be promoting the right to work. Government should not be giving anybody anything free. I don't believe that government should give anybody anything free. When the Bible says a man shall not eat unless he works, government should not be giving somebody free to eat. Government should be providing people opportunity to work. Even the handicapped people, who cannot move or he cannot have freedom of work, there are jobs they could do. The government should provide them, facilities so that they could develop their skill, with their limitations and earn a living. It's always, decent. There is dignity when you see a person, totally handicapped, he makes, his living, as opposed to someone who is begging. Begging is never, a work in the Bible. No, never. So government should not be promoting, this sort of giving out money freely to people. In America, they call it the food stamps and all given to poor people. Food stamps, they want, everybody get $500 worth of food stamps. You can take these stamps and redeem it. Go to a grocery store, $10 but food stamp, and you can pick up $10 worth of food. They do that. So they have that system there. In our country, we have what called rationing system. Sometimes its rationing system is just free. Somebody who honestly works, he has to pay 32 rupees per kilo. Somebody who does not work, they have to pay only 2 rupees to get the same rice. So, work is a curse then? Are you penalized because you wanted to work? What system is that? What system is that? We are not talking about people who are sick and or something, but healthy families are given, free food. I don't believe anybody should be given free food. Everybody must be given opportunity for work. In the country, everybody should be encouraged to work, and there are, different works, and even the most handicapped person should be provided some training so that he could earn his living. Let everybody earn their living. Instead of government giving away money freely. How can a government exist by giving away money? I don't believe that. So the Bible teaches that whatever form of economics you have, it is an economics that encourages everybody, or the right to work, the responsibility to work, that should be there. Everybody should earn his own living by working. And also, whatever economics you have, it should respect the right to own. You worked and you earned. It's your money. Government should not take it away. Government should not take it away. What right the government has? If you call it the employment tax, well, okay, the rest of the money is yours. But government should not take away money from citizens freely. The Bible encourages us, teaches us that we must pay tax. Yes. There will be tax for everybody because we have government employees, we have police, we have military. There are so many things government has to do. They need money. For that money they can take tax. But taxing should not be an excuse to take away all the money the people earn. Because you work hard 8 hours or 10 hours to support your family and government takes away. That's not right. Especially when the government is doing business by themselves. Government has no business of doing business. Government should not be running any business because then government is competing with the private person's freedom to work. How can you do that? That cannot be. The governments have medical stores, what they call those medical stores. In Kerala we have these medical stores, subsidized rate medical stores, Why should government run medical stores? Let private people run medical stores. Government can control the prices so that private firms will not be exploiting people. If a medicine, it takes only 5 rupees to produce 10 tablets, then that 10 tablets need not be sold for 150 rupees. It need not be. A reasonable amount, 30 or 40 rupees, fine. Your expense and all, a reasonable profit for the dealers. But why should 150, 180 rupees? So that's what the government should control. Unethical trade. So economics, the freedom to write, the right to work and the right to own and the right to spend. Government should not be telling anybody you have to wear only this kind of cloth, you cannot buy any cloth that costs more than this, or you cannot put your child in any school that costs more than this. You cannot buy a car cost more than this. You cannot give your child for the wedding spend more than this. The government has no business of telling all those things. Government can give guidelines. Anybody can give good guidelines. Teach people the value of money. And all that. But government cannot make law on these things. The Lord in his parable said that, the rich man's wedding, he said, all my animals are fattened, animals are killed, my wine is mixed, my food is ready, come. That sounds like it's a big feast. It's a big feast. And he has that freedom to give. The other man may not do it, limited by his economics. He may do a feast to his capacity. Government should not be saying it. So, our economic system, the biblical economic system does not promote free food for anybody and then the government owning what you work, government taking away, and you are not free to give to whomever you want. No, you cannot in many places. And all these things. So economics is more than just work and earning. Economics is not just money and spending. Economics deals with, it's a science that deals with your right to work, your right to own, and your duty to, or your right to spend, your right to save, your freedom to give, and all these things are governed by economics. And we needed to teach we needed to educate our children right from the beginning on this economics. Economics. How much they can have, how they should earn. In the Western society, capitalist society, children are paid for every job they do, taking out the trash, every day you get 10 cents. Well, that's good. Cleaning the bathroom, you can earn, every week so much. Taking out the newspaper, this and that, and everything you get. So everything, that system goes. Of course, then the problem is they won't do anything unless you pay for it. So they learn that there's no free work. Everything is paid. Everything is paid. So basically, children supported, and after a while the parents will charge the children. Yes. Now you have to pay, contribute so much per week for the food and clothing and boarding and all that. Well, there, it always could be misused, but interestingly, children learn the value of work, dignity of work, the value of money and all that thing. By the time somebody is 18 years old, they have their apartments, they have their car, they have everything, and they are ready to establish a family. Here 25, 26-year-old man, only in recent years with the IT boom and all they have. Otherwise 25, 26-year-old man, even when after marriage, the father-in-law has to provide for her clothing and her food and everything, a place to live and everything, What system is that? It's not the right system. It never made our people responsible, The motivation is not there. I need to work, I need to provide for, I have to find my own housing and everything there. This is part of economics. This is not, just a practical living. This is theoretical and practical economics in operation. Our children should be taught these values and how to spend money, ownership of money. How the stewardship responsibility of holding money, saving money, spending money, giving money and all those things. We have it. If we teach our children correctly, then they will never be covetous. They know not only how to make money, they know the responsibility of owning money, giving money and all those things. So we need to. So any system that respects these elements, that's a biblical system. That's a biblical system. And I'm not a capitalist or a socialist or a Marxist, definitely, but taking into consideration everything, I will say the Bible definitely believes in a biblical system of capitalism, not the American system of capitalism, but a biblical system of capitalism, where individuals are free to own, free to work, free to spend, and all those things. Socialism also could be a mod, if it could be modified in some way, a modified version of the socialism could also be acceptable, but I think a biblical capitalism is far ideal because it agrees more with the biblical system of the freedom to work, the freedom to earn, the freedom to own, the freedom to save, the freedom to give, stewardship responsibility, and all these things they better serve. So a sound economic system therefore will guarantee personal freedom to work, personal freedom to use the labor, the product of his work, and the other person's right to work, and respecting the other person's right to own and to exist in the society, Free enterprise with check and balance to guarantee social justice is the ideal system. Free enterprise with check and balance. The government has to bring the balance. The Bible brings the balance. The Bible very clearly encourages everybody to work. Work honestly. In 6 days you have to finish all your work. What does that mean? You have a work to do and you must finish it. Everything. Your land even has to be given a sabbatical. 6 years you work, 7th year your land cannot be cultivated. Why? Because the land has to regain the lost energy. Continuous cultivation, that's going to reduce the fertility of the land. So God said, give the land a Sabbath. Rotation of crops, they're all biblically practiced, It's all practiced. Amazingly, you study the Mosaic instructions concerning work, farming and all that, our land will produce a whole lot better. But people, overlook those things. So free enterprises which check and balance, guarantees social justice. Social justice in the sense, in the society there will be always the so-called poor people. Who are the poor? They don't have land to work. They have only physical, body to earn their living. And then after some time what happens? Their physical strength goes down, their ability to work is stopped. So they are the ideal poor. They have to be supported according to Bible. They have to be supported. So Bible requires every farmer to leave a portion of his crop unharvested for these poor people to come and pick it up. Yes? So that's social justice. They have to give 1/10 of their property, that one of their 3 tithes set aside for the poor and the needy. And the strangers, they say, because the strangers cannot own land in Palestine. Land belongs to the Lord, and Lord has given it to Israel, his peoples. So those who migrated from outside, they don't have land. So they also need. So they usually work in the field, but that's only for day-to-day, needs. Again, depends upon the wage system. Not everybody is as gracious as a Boaz. Boaz was a gracious master. Ruth worked in the field, but she was able to, take home a good amount. Boaz was so gracious that he gave her so much food that she could eat plenty and then take home a portion. So Boaz was a good master. Job was a good master, because there we read that his servants eat meat and they eat so much and they left over. The prodigal son said about his father, the laborers in his home, they eat plenty of meat and left over always. See the imagery, they were not just giving enough, but they gave so much that they will eat full and then something will be left over, And that's the way. And that's the way our Lord was also. 5 loaves and 2 fishes, 12 baskets were left over. And the statement is, the fish also he gave them as much as they wanted to eat, Fish was not a side dish, seems like. It was the main dish there. The Lord's economics was that. But he said that not one fragment can be wasted. Not one fragment. Pick up all fragments. Not one. Because conservation of resources is biblical system. Yes. James talks about not keeping our gold and silver at home, but putting money into circulation. Yes. Money should always be put into circulation. Nobody should encourage piggy bank savings, Putting money in that. You should open an account for your child in the bank at the earliest and teach the child to deposit in the bank, because the child will get the interest. Child will learn the value, the art of, balancing the checkbook, checking and going to the bank and all these things. So instead of putting it in that so-called piggy bank, put it in the bank. That's a biblical principle. Money is in circulation. Government needs money for building roads, hospitals and everything. So when you put your money in gold and silver, keeping it at home, what are you doing? You are not helping the national construction, the building up of the nation. So these are biblical principles of economics, So if we are responsible people, then, we have savings, but our savings also will get interest, not in the blade banks, but in the government nationalized banks, scheduled banks where government approved rates, you can earn it. Government will also get the tax money, and reduction at the sources they will also get, and we don't have to worry about many things. This is honest, intelligent, and I encourage people, be honest in your dealings. Have right economics. Have right economics. Communism and Marxism as a system does not believe in free enterprise and private ownership of property. They don't really believe in the freedom for work and freedom to own. The freedom to work means you cannot decide what you want in the Marxist system. The government will decide. Whatever factory the government will send you, you go there. Whatever cooperative land, farm, government will ask you to go and work, that's where you... So they don't believe in the freedom of owning and freedom of work, freedom of saving, and nothing. So a Christian can never be a Marxist, never be a Marxist. Marxism and Christianity are antagonistic. They are not complementary. Wrongly, many people think they are complementary. They are not complementary. Absolutely not. They are not complementary. Yes. Christians are divided as to their view of economics. Many believe that the Bible teaches a system of private property and individual responsibility and initiatives. There are many passages which we mentioned some last week, Isaiah 65, Jeremiah 32, Acts chapter 5, Ephesians 4, and many other passages teach us that. Some Christians erroneously think that Acts chapter 2 supports either Marxism or socialism, They say from everybody according to his ability to everybody according to his need. But that passage does not teach that at all. What that passage teaches is every person has the freedom to own and to give. You can even sell and give because it's your property. Socialism and Marxism says it's government's property. We will sell it. We will take it away from you. And we will distribute it. There is no such centralized distribution. There was only voluntary giving. Marxism or socialism does not have anything to do with voluntary giving. That's only capitalism. Because the voluntary giving says that it is mine. If I want, I will give. Peter asked Ananias and Sapphira the question, was it not yours before you sold it? Even after sold it, was the money not yours? Why you have it? You decided to give the whole, then give whole. Don't give half and say that we gave. That's lie. That's what their sin was. Lying to the Holy Spirit. You are not lying to man. You are lying to God. That's what they were punished for. Bible teaches and encourages definitely, private enterprises. Yes. And there are some even who goes to the extent of arguing for a Marxian economy. The liberation theologians, for example, advocate this system. However, liberation theology itself is wrong. And then what to say about their economics? There are no biblical support for the system. They believe heaven could be established on earth through modified Marxian system. No. Any country on the earth where Marxism has existed for a while, you can go and look at it. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. Ronald Reagan has, opened doors on these iron curtains of Russia, and what we have seen was absolute poverty. The Russians, they said, we give up. The Americans wanted the Star Wars, Reagan was going ahead with one. The Russians said, we have no money for Star Wars here. People are starving for bread. So we have to give it up. Said that you don't need to go ahead. We open up our curtains and show you our poverty. So Reagan said, better you do that. And there was nothing. The people were not having food. The whole Soviet Russia collapsed. The Soviet Union collapsed. Individual countries in that union all got freedom. They declared freedom themselves. They all went. You cannot have a Marxist system successful. What is the motivation to work in a Marxist system? Everybody's property is nobody's property. That's what it is. No, there is no motivation. The motivation has to come when it is your property and your labor is yours and you get the benefit of it. The produce is yours. There is great satisfaction in a pineapple farmer holding a pineapple in his hand and said to children that, look, this is what, God has blessed us with our labor.
The Soviet Union during those days,
Yeah.
there were excellent space, and also in sports. Both requires motivation.
Yes.
So, what was-
Because government required them. You'll be shot if you don't run. But look at America. They're good in both. Right? They're good in both. The America is good in both. What is that? Who was that man? Phelps or somebody who was amassed so many gold from water. Americans have told us that you can get water out of gold. How many he got? 8 or 9. Yeah. Yeah.
Total is.
Yes.
So my question is, how that kind of work and sports advancement needed?
The sports advancement was there because the government has recruited very able, children from childhood. They were given special food and special allowance for sports. So they themselves found that a sportsman in Russia was far better than any other profession, because all they have to do is run and do the exercise and eat good food and all that. So in a system like that, it will be. In America, government doesn't do anything to encourage sports. It's all private. You run if you want. But then there they run because they want to. And they excel. In many sports they excel. In the Olympics, they excel. In any enterprises, America is excelling. The more Americans get Nobel Prize than any other country. Why? Because the freedom. The freedom. An American scientist can do research independently. And he gets credit for it. Here in India, you cannot do it. You work for a firm, you cannot do independent research. Even if you find out something, it belongs to the company. You cannot get patent, So it's a different system. In America, the land you own is yours. Of course, when you purchase it, you have to purchase with the rights for minerals. There's a special clause. This property is sold with the rights for minerals. Then whatever gold is found there, if petrol is found there, it's yours. You can dig it and you can take it. The government will get only the tax, but it's your land. But in India, you bought a piece of land and petrol is found, next day you are evicted. This land is government's. Because it's mineral rights, we don't have it, We can only pick up certain things that are found on certain feet, the top layer of the soil. Anything below that, it belongs to the government. So what motivation is there? So even if you know that there is petrol underneath, you'll keep quiet because you're going to lose. That's why people do that. So
Then how is that a lot of people in Karnataka, they became rich overnight?
yes, corruption. It's a corruption.
Landowners who got money.
Yes, the landowners will get money because
They are paid certain percent.
yes, you are paid certain, not for the things that you dig. But it is the government gets it. But when your land is found gold or this one, the land is costing more. You are not paid the market value. There is a special price set. If my land is found with a lot of gold, I am not going to give 1 lakh% or something. The valuation is different. So I'll get a lot more money. That way. Yes. The people there, the ministers get so much money, every day. Ministers all. In our Indian system, the ministers get money for anything people, because you want to get a contract for mining. For every ton ores you take, so much percentage will automatically come to the minister. There will be a Benami account or whatever is, that will go automatically to them. Then only you will get it, otherwise you won't get it. That's our system. So, the China, for example, is very excellent in sports. This is the same thing happens. Chinese pick up children at the very early age, and they will feed them special food, protein, everything special, and very rigorous, intensive training. And, so the children are well off there, those who join the sports and all that. So that's a different system than ours. In India, government does not recruit anybody anywhere. Somebody wants, this is politics, If an average poor man's child is a good runner, probably he will not be sent to the Olympics, but instead somebody else, because going up to the whatever nation the Olympics is conducted, the plane ticket, this and the shopping expenses and that expense, this expense, that's what they will do. India doesn't care how many medals we get. We are more concerned how many officials can go. That's a trip, because that's what socialism is, socialism. In America, the private economy, those who wanted to go, they go. Government does not pay anybody's wages or anything. You have to find your own money. There will be people coming and sponsoring you. Sports companies will sponsor you. You are a good sportsman, and you're making millions of dollars. Millions of dollars, they will sponsor everything for you. Yeah. So it's a different system. So, as far as we are concerned, we believe in the biblical system, that this biblical system definitely encourages, a modified, what I call the Mosaic capitalism. I want to call it the Mosaic capitalism, where, there true freedom of the ownership, private enterprises, freedom of work, freedom of saving, freedom of using your money and all that, all with the principle of stewardship. So the notion that private property encourages greed and envy, that's an accusation, say private property encourages greed and envy. No, private property does not need to encourage greed and envy. Why should it be? If I have 10 cents of land and I produce maximum, my neighbor doesn't need to be envy of me, because he can also produce. So I say the private property motivates for hard work, and for labor. Don't call it envy. You are producing 5 tons of grain from your acre. If I'm envious, that is good envious. I decided I want to next year produce 6 tons of grain in my acreage. Well, why call it bad? It's good, because you are producing more, not by cheating anybody, not by stealing, but by investing more wisely in your land. That's what it is. So we should encourage that. So the notion that it encourages greed and envy is not true. Man is greedy whether he is under private system, public system or any other system, because man is a sinner. So all those vices of sin will be there, whether, and as long as you are not born again, you are a natural man and you are afflicted by this. Once you are born again, then we can expect some change in our character. The fruit of the Spirit will come. I pointed out yesterday that the Russian President Brezhnev is said to have close to 100 luxury cars, some of the vintage cars and all. Why should he have? He said, that's my hobby, collecting cars. Doesn't it cost money? Where do you get money? I thought it was a Martian system, equality and all that. No, there is no equality there. Brezhnev was more covetous than anybody in the capitalist system. So the question is, which system is compatible with the Word of God? What system agrees to the financial principles of the Bible? The commandment, thou shalt not steal, is the clearest declaration of the right to private property, as we pointed out earlier. Private ownership and stewardship of property are assumed to be the proper state of affairs throughout the Bible. Private ownership and stewardship responsibility, The land belongs to the Lord has given it to you. You are holding the land, cultivating the land, using the products for the Lord. You can use as much as you want under the stewardship responsibility, but you cannot abuse the producers. You can only use, not misuse or not abuse. So a Jew was free to eat as much as he wants. He could never throw away food. He can never throw away food. Produce. God. In the Bible, every person was to produce at least for another person. Yes. It is said that in the American capitalism, every farmer produces food for at least 4 other people. At least. Not that much, because they own 10,000, 20,000 acres of land, that's what they own. So they are not producing just for one other person. One person needs only 1 acre of land, But they are taking the whole population of the world, they say that they produce 4 people in the world, food. There is plenty of food in this world. But they have to drown food in the ocean, truckloads of food. Because countries like India and some other countries will object them bringing all those grain to the market, then our farmers will go break. See, they can sell 1 kilo of wheat for 2 paise if they want. They produce so much. But our farmers have to sell 1 kilo for 10 rupees. So the international market cannot go down. That's called dumping. You cannot do dumping. So the excess food, what they will do? They have to dump in the Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, truckloads of food. Otherwise the world market will collapse. The poor nations cannot survive. They cannot give free because the nations won't survive, If food is available free, what our farmers will do with their products? You have coconuts to sell. You have 2,000 coconuts every month to sell. I got 20,000 coconuts and I'm giving it free. Every person who come to buy coconuts to your house, I say, come here. How many do you need? 10. Take it. So what do you do with your coconuts? They are giving. They are giving. It's the problem is not they are not giving. The problem is the food they give, they take it and sell it to buy guns. That's the problem. They give the food for free distribution to many countries. Where do it go? This always go to the big wholesale markets, where they buy it and they sell it. This is what is happening. So the free distribution cannot, because then the people won't work. That again. If America is giving free food to all the Indians, then will the Indians work? So that cannot be possible. That cannot be possible. So American government has come up with a system. The farmers can only cultivate half of your land every year. You got 10,000 acres, you cultivate 5,000 acres. Government will pay you for 5,000 acres you have not cultivated. Yes. That is to prevent the overproduction. Otherwise the world market will collapse. The free economy, that's a free enterprise. The Russians made a study, why Americans are successful in farming. We got land, we are not. They came up with, there is no motivation for our people, because whether they work, they don't work, you give them only 1 loaf of bread every day. They cannot work and they cannot go and buy steaks and eat and chicken fry and eat. No, they cannot. Because it's rationing. How much you produce, government takes it away. How much you get, government decides. So what motivation is there? See, American farmers have motivation because it's theirs. It's theirs. So private enterprise, it's not actually greed. It is it's not greed at all. It is the stewardship responsibility to produce. So, we needed to produce for others also, definitely. Exodus 22:1 and following states clearly that if someone steals, he must pay restitution. And even many times, sometimes he has to sell himself to slavery for restitution. Why is this? Because God has bestowed the right to own and enjoy one's property without anyone else encroaching upon that right. So a heavy price has to be paid for encroachment. In India, anybody can steal. That's the only thing. The only business that does not have income tax, sales tax, any tax is stealing. Thieves don't have to pay any, they don't pay any tax. They just steal and they just use it. Black money, what is it? The whole black money is a kind of stealing. You are not paying government's due, but falsifying your account, and you are keeping more than what you are allowed to do. And people pickpockets, do they have a tax system? No tax system. Yes, all the land mafias in Maharashtra, how many are they? Crores and crores and crores and billions of rupees worth of properties they own. How did they make this money? Where did they get all this money to start with? There must be some, falsification somewhere, because in the Indian system, it's very difficult for an honest person to make money. In the capitalist system, you don't need to show any lie. There also people do it because they want to make more money, But in the true biblical capitalist system, you don't have to say any lie. You pay government's share and you keep your share. You can produce as much as you want. The first time the idea of state ownership came in the land of Egypt during Joseph. We know that the famine came and then finally the farmers have to sell the land to the government. They had no other way. That's the only way they could survive. But then Joseph was a very wise man. What did he do? He said, okay, land is ours, we will give you seed. Seed is free. You take the seed, cultivate. 4 parts you keep, 1 part you give to the government. That's a very reasonable thing. When the seed is free, and the land belongs to government, but land is given back to you, you cultivate it as if it's yours. 4 parts you keep. And 1 part you give to us. That's a very fair system. Very fair system. If the government will do the same thing, this income tax is reduced to, 1/4 of what you earn, 25% or 20%. It's what, 35% now? 35%, Yeah, not for the total money you earn, for the taxable money. You can do a lot of things with it, investing it in insurances and all these things, and you can do wisely, you can do that. There's nothing wrong in it, Yes, and of course now it is 2 lakhs, I think. 2.5. Oh, okay, 2.5. That's very good. For senior citizens, get a little more, I guess. Yeah. Well, that's nice, People who are making money, they can. Yes. This government is a little more capitalistic in outlook, than the previous government. Yes. So what were we talking about? Pharaoh, right. The government owning. And even there Pharaoh was, Joseph was very right, because he did not take the property of the priest. All the priestly class people were exempted. Their property, they belong to them. In the Bible system, the priestly class didn't have any property. They had only property for feeding their cattle and grazing their cattle, and maybe building a house. Nothing, no farming. Because they don't want, God doesn't want this priest to go and involve in that kind of job. Their job is this, and God made a principle that the laborer is worthy of the hire. Muscle not the ox that treadeth the grain. So as long as the people are faithful, they bring regularly sacrifices, the priest will get a good portion of it. Good portion. The best portion always get the priest. They were eating beef so much, mutton and so much, every day, and not one of them had obesity. And be honest, the only priest who was obese was Eli. What was his problem? He was using fat. His sons were taking uncooked meat with fat, and they were cooking and eating it, so the obesity came. Otherwise, the fat has to be burnt, only then the share can be taken. Because the fat belongs to the Lord. That's the statement. The fat belongs to the Lord. Fat doesn't belong to us. Fat belongs to the Lord. So the priests were not to work. They were given the best. The only time priests went to work is when people stopped sacrificing and all. The altar was closed down. The courtyard was empty. And the priests looked at each other and said, how are we going to live now? Let's go. Find some, job somewhere. So when good kings came, they corrected it. Josiah and all those good kings came, what did they? The first thing they will do is restore back to the priest system. The people, were exhorted to give their share. The earth and all it contains belong to the Lord. Yes, God has given this land to man so that he could keep it and cultivate it. There is principle of stewardship in owning the land. Man needs to give God the leasing price. I will say, if the Egyptians gave 20%, or 25%, let us give. God fixed that 33% in the Old Testament. The leasing price for the land. Yes. And I recommend very highly that all Christians give 30% at least. You can give 10% for your own use, for conferences and camps and for that sort of expenses, because that's what Israel was doing. They were given the freedom to use 1/10 of their income when they go to Jerusalem for buying food or this and that, and they can. 10% was to be given in support of the poor and the orphans and the widows and all that. And 10% directly was to be taken to the temple, handed over with the covenant that I have not touched it. That's what every Christian should do. 10% must be put in the church offering. 10% must be given for good works, charity, and 10% for our camps and conferences and all those thing. How blessed will everybody be? Nobody will be complaining, I don't have money for conference. Our conferences won't have to beg anybody because everybody got money. And you will complain to your money, we can ask them to serve in better food and better facilities, and better facility could be rendered for camps because everybody got money. Here what happens is 5% to 6% maximum given to the church. Out of that we have to do everything. Then when we have special projects, we will ask people to give more. Well, that's need not to be there. It should not be there like that. And I think we should encourage systematic teaching on the financial responsibilities of the people. We should teach. Our people are suffering because of that. As the Lord said in Malachi, when we do financial, in our stewardship unfaithfulness, we are robbing ourselves. We are robbing God, but thinking that we are benefited. We are not benefited. We are not benefited because God has made a principle. He who sows more, he will reap more. The sowing there is giving. The Lord is in the habit of giving the seed to those who sow the seed. So sowing is giving. So God can give you as much as you want. You give 80%, God can give you so much seed to sow. Because the rest 20% will be more than the 90% of some other person who give only 10%. And that's a principle God always employs. So those who have given to the Lord more, they never suffered. In the history of the church, they never suffered. There are many who gave up to 90%. 90% of all their income they have given to the Lord, and even then the 10% amounted to millions of dollars. Isn't God wonderful? He is. Now why don't we take God face value, at face value of His promises? Why are we so miserly when it comes to giving? I'm not talking about Pawai Church or Vasai Church or anything. I'm talking about Christians as a whole. Not some churches will be an exemption to others, but generally speaking, our people do not give even honestly 10%. There will be some. Most churches survive because there are few faithful ones. That's a fact. Most churches, because those who count the offering, they know that there will be a lot more 50 rupees and 100 rupees and 10 rupee notes than there will be the 1000 rupees notes will be fewer than the others. But yet most of the people, if you take the 1/10, even mere 1/10, there should be many, many more, 1000 rupee notes. And this is fact. This is fact. So, we don't teach economics to our people, that's the problem. We only preach about the love of God and the mercy of God, the forgiveness of God, and John 3:16 always, and all the second coming of the Lord. But we don't teach about, our financial stewardship and all that. That's equally important. Equally important. So our Lord Jesus Christ, He complimented the woman, the widow who gave 100%. Not, see? Lord was calculating things by the percentage. You know how God calculates our giving? Not by the amount we give, but by the amount we keep. What percentage we keep. You keep more than you need? That's it. Do you keep more than you need? Of course, we can always increase our needs. We can say, Lord, I like to have an Audi, driving this, small car or this car, I like to drive a Mercedes Benz, you can always increase, yeah. Living in a two-bed private bungalow of 5 bedrooms with a swimming pool and, for children, a garden in the back and for a tennis court and whatnot and all these things. So you can always, increase. Yes? Yeah. I'm tired of, eating at home always. Oh, I like to go to some of these nice 5-star restaurants, maybe at least every other day with my whole family and eat some nice food. What's wrong in eating nice food? Nothing wrong. So what I said, you can always increase, not wearing these branded clothes, but, always buying clothes on unbranded and all that. You can always increase your wants and your taste, and nothing wrong, I will say that. But the Lord is saying, how much you keep. What are you spending the money for? So we may be talking about how much we give. The Lord is talking about how much we keep. Blessed is the man who keep less and give more. Of course, Bible permits you to keep for all your needs, present needs, known needs. Definitely, Saving is encouraged in the Bible. You learn the lesson from the ants, how it keeps the food in the summer for the raining day, So they're all teaching us savings. Bible is not a communistic book or, it's not an irresponsible book or anything. It is. But then Bible encourages this whole matter of giving. So giving more is the best way of receiving more from the hand of God. So I say that, our economics is that our, our giving and our receiving are proportional. Let them be proportional. It's the more we keep, the less returns we get. The more we keep, the less returns we get. The more we give, the more returns we get. So always, give more. Yes. So we needed to understand, private property in the context of the stewardship principle the Bible teaches. Yes. I have to handle anything or everything I have as a trust of God or trust for God. Optimum production, moderation in use, intelligent investment, liberal distribution is the key of my stewardship principle. I repeat that. Optimum production, moderate use, intelligent investment, and liberal distribution. They are the principles of my stewardship, economic stewardship.
Can you repeat?
Yeah, optimum production. If you can get 5 lakhs rupees per month on a job, given all the other benefits, same like your time available for family, worship and all that, for the same amount of hours you are spending now, you can make 5 lakhs. But if you are getting only 2 lakhs, why you work for 2 lakhs? What's the reason? You are not producing optimum. So every person should be, but don't sacrifice the other things. You are making 5 lakhs but sacrificing your family, then that's not worth. Sacrificing your Christian responsibility of evangelism and church meeting, then that's not worth. Throw it away. You say, I don't want. So every Christian should be. We should never be laziness. Contentment is a great gain with, yes. Content with godliness. Godliness tells that you are fulfilling your duties to family, to God, your neighbor and yourself and all that thing. Otherwise it's false contentment. This is enough for me. That attitude is not correct. So optimum production is whether you are a farmer, you are a fisherman, you are a carpenter, you are a teacher, you are a doctor, you are an engineer. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter. Bible teaches about dignity of labor. Honestly, it teaches about dignity of labor. It's an Indian mentality because certain jobs were assigned to certain caste. Cleaning your bathroom was to assign certain caste. So if you clean the bathroom, then they think that you are from that caste. Climbing the coconut to a certain caste, shining your shoes to certain caste, washing your clothes certain caste. So here everything is certain caste. Only that caste can do it. No, Bible does not teach that caste system. God has not created anybody to clean anybody's bathroom. But anybody can clean a bathroom for living. As long as the cleaning process you don't get contaminated in any way. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. That's dignity of labor. Work is to earn a living. Work is to glorify God. And if you do that one, so intelligence, so optimum production, moderation in use. Moderation in use. We have to practice moderation in use. What is our problem? In India, in the whole world, not only in India, we are not practicing moderation in use. We consume more than we need food, for example. So obesity comes. All these things, we eat more than we need. We buy more than we could use. In any of your homes, including mine, I'm not saying yours, if we honestly take a stock of every item we have, we will come across many items we have not even used once in the last 5 years. Yes. Last time I went home, I had went around my home and picked up things that we have not touched for 25 years. The old families have copper vessels and this vessel, chamburli, this and that. I took them all and sold it. I said it's sin to keep them here. So I sold them. Except some articles may have, somebody has a, what you call an emotional attachment. Keep it. Otherwise, why have to keep them? Anything you have, you must have used it at least once a year. Of course, I'm not saying that your wedding garment you have to give it away because you haven't used it now 25 years. You have been married for 25 years. Maybe your daughter will put it on her. Nowadays even they don't do that. Old time that was a tradition. Mother's, wedding sari was used by the daughter. Like Indira Gandhi's, what is that? Nehru's wife, what is her name? Kamala Nehru's sari was worn by Indira Gandhi. Indira Gandhi's was worn by Sonia Gandhi, and that goes. That's nice. It's nice. Yeah. Otherwise, I often felt why people have to spend so much money in a wedding dress. Wear for 1 hour or 2 hours. Then they never again. If that's the case, then don't spend that much money. Buy a very, I'm not saying you have to look cheap, no, because that's your day, that's your day, you have to look nice. But it has to be sensible. It has to be sensible. So moderate in use, anything, moderate in use. Wherever you. Intelligent investment. Lot of people have lost their intelligence in investment. They will invest money here and there and they lose because they are not intelligently investing. If you are a person who, in stock and shares, market, and you have to be very careful. I don't involve it. I study them. Most every day I read the stock market rates going up and down, but I never bought. Because Lord has not called me for that business. But but if you invest in blue chip companies very carefully, you will never lose. But some companies will shoot up. But you invest. But if you are daily buying and selling, no problem. No stock, But then how ethical that is, because it's not registered in your name, therefore you don't pay tax and all. Usually it's just on the spot buying and selling. Your name even doesn't come. So you only amass money. A lot of people make money every day. They don't touch any money with their hands. It all goes like this. 1,000 shares in the morning you bought, after 2 hours you sold the 1,000 shares because the price showed up. You only collect the money. Hey, give me my money. That's it. Yeah, now they have government and SEBI, and they are all catching up with all these systems, to control. That's good that, we need to have a clearer system to do. So wise investment is very important. Land investment is very good in some places. Gold, if you buy pure bullion, not ornaments, it's wise. Ornaments, because the ornaments, when you sell it, always you lose money, and everywhere in the panikuli, this, that, and all these things it was. But if you invest in gold, buy gold bars or your coins, or gold coins, something pure 24 carats bullion, So you have to invest very wisely. But even I don't recommend them, because usually, the gold prices is shooting up, but for me it looks like it has come to an optimum. The land prices were shooting up. I don't know how much more it will go, but I know land does not increase, only people increase. There are always people growing, land is not growing. Unless like in Japan, land has no value. It's only because they start building all 90 store floors and 80 floors, and because owning a piece of land is very expensive. So single houses idea they have. So then buying land is not that much worth anymore. So, buying flat is not profitable, because only, no appreciation, only depreciation, because buildings every year, by the age it goes down. A 50-year-old building is not going to be sold. It's the land where the building stands that makes the appreciation, not the building, because the building is old. So investing in a building is not wise actually. In our country still investing in the land is there. So intelligent investment and liberal distribution. Give liberally to the Lord, to the poor, to the needy, you will be blessed. So this is the principle. If you really wanted to be blessed, it's part of our stewardship principle. The Lord will ask all these questions. Why you did not produce optimum? You had the opportunity to make more without sacrificing any of the spiritual values. Isn't it your laziness, your responsibility? So Christians should have to give an account for that. Always, why did you abuse or misuse what you produced? You didn't need that. Your children were throwing away food every day. How many times you taken food from the fridge and threw it away? Why you wanted to stock it there? And you have to give an account for all these things. People buy and store and then throw it away. We cannot do that. We have to give an account to the Lord for it. There is some loss will be there, in any family. Sometimes the milk will be spoiled and all, that there will be some. I am not saying that, but sometimes we buy and leave it there and then it becomes spoiled and we throw it away. It's irresponsible because we bought it more than we needed. That's the reason. So we cannot do that. And also the Lord will say, hey, what happened? You invested in that company, you were greedy, right? So many of these blade companies, these cheaters, they come with something 30% return, 40% return. Greedy people go and invest and then they don't know where is even the headquarters. There was a board there, now. They have gone, they are dived. We don't know where they are. That sort of, we should never. So, these principles must be judiciously maintained. Then there will be efficiency for the owner, there will be better wages for the worker, and better taxation for the state. We get a better portion, our workers get a better portion, and government gets a better portion. And the poor is benefited. So when we are not producing maximum and all doing all this, maintaining these principles, then we are doing injustice to ourselves, to our children, to the needy ones, to the government, to the church, everywhere we don't have money to give. So of course such principles are violated and selfishly exploited by sinful people in the absence of adequate enforcing authority. The argument that as long as man is sinful and imperfect, the idea of private property will breed corruption is not valid for any other Any other system will do the same thing, any other system. So the question is not, what system is foolproof. There may not be any system, but comparatively, comparing system with system, the Bible definitely encourages what we call a Mosaic capitalism. Capitalism taught in the Bible, or a biblical capitalism. We needed to, teach this to our children. Don't we have Sunday schools, adult Sunday school and all? Sometimes we needed to say, have a course on Mosaic, economics, finances, or biblical finance. That's very good. We should have it. Proverbs 31 pictures the ideal private enterprising system. I mentioned last week, some of them is repetition, I know that. Carefully study that woman. What is the secret of that woman enterprising? You know what is the secret of that woman, sisters?
She works for herself, she gives it to the poor, she feeds her family, her husband is respected in the...
All you said is correct. But you know what's the secret of her? She had a husband who trusted her. That's a secret. If the husband didn't trust and didn't give her money, capital to invest and all that, and the husband said, hey, no, I don't want you to do anything. No, she had a husband who trusted and gave her encouragement, that's it. Hey, you can do it. I am getting a handsome salary from my judicial job. He was a judge, I give this money to you, handle it, invest it, make money. There was mutual trust, and she was doing it excellently well because she was able. She enjoyed the trust and the confidence of the husband. The problem with many of our wives is not that they are not able. Actually, the husbands are not encouraging, trusting them. I honestly feel, husbands won't trust their wives with 10,000 rupees. The Lord was so liberal in his parables, at least, He said, the master was going out, gave 10 talents. You know how 10 talents is? You can take your study Bible, 10 talents is something like crores of rupees. So he was giving him crores of rupees. He trusted his people. Husbands usually don't trust their wives. And of course, some wives are trusted and then everything is gone also. That's because the husbands have not studied the wife, see? After marriage, every husband has to study his wife for 2-3 years. Her ability, talents, honesty, stewardship responsibility, and all these things. Because the wife need not to come from a home where all these things have been taught. So there is a period where her husband has to observe his wife, check out, And the more he sees she is faithful and able, then the more liberty is given. And then the time comes when he gives everything into her hand, I will sit in the gate. That's where all the cases are dealt with, I will go into court, I will concentrate on my job. You take care of this. What a blessed family is that. No wonder the children shall rise up and say she is blessed. We have a blessed mother. How many of our sisters could come under that one? Husbands don't trust, this is. So we need to encourage our daughters, we need to encourage our wives and all that, there need to be what I will say, a renaissance, if not a reformation, a renaissance in this economic renaissance, where more intelligent understanding of our abilities and all those things should be there. Encourage brothers, especially you people are more learned people and people with greater abilities and understanding all that, and use it. Most of our wives are wasting their time and energy by staying home and doing nothing, or working for somebody, just earning some pittance. They should not be. Why should they? So economic competition is very, very important. Economic competition is very important. Of course, economic competition tends to stifle man's sinful tendencies, because sometimes unethical competition will pull the feet of somebody else. And there is a tendency, every businessman wants to see that his neighbor's business is closed down. No, that's an unhealthy competition. In healthy competition, that will never come. You ever notice, medical shops are all in same area, gold shops are all in same area, fabric shops are all in the same area. Why they are in the same area? The healthy competition. That's the reason. So a lot of person coming into my, ready-made shop, he may buy some, he may not buy some, because I may be catering to certain type of people, so he may go to the other shop where his needs are catered. It's a healthy competition. They can compare the price with each other, the quality with each other. So unethical competition is where you have your, you are not selling the genuine thing. You are always have counterfeit things, selling for a lesser price. And innocent people are cheated, and honest businessman is, somebody insists that I will only trade genuine products. The Lifebuoy soap in my shop will be manufactured by the Lifebuoy company, but Lifebuoy shop you can get for half price there, because it is not produced by the Lifebuoy shop. It is produced at Kundangulam, Yeah, Kundangulam is a shop where you can get anything. Yes. Somebody went to a Kundangulam shop and asked for can I get a change for a 9 rupee bill, note? Yeah, sure. He handed over 3 rupee notes. It's available there. Whatever you bring it's available there. Yeah, because it's a market of counterfeit. You ask for anything, yeah, we got it. That sort of. There are many people like that. But so, competition, honest competition encourages actually cooperation in a capitalist society. Because people are in accordance with the principle, they operate in accordance with the comparative advantage. The principle of comparative advantage states that every member of a free market society can produce a valuable good or service by specializing in an area in which he or she is at the least disadvantage, thus producing something of value to others. Want me to repeat it? Yes. The principle of comparative advantage states that every member of a free market society can produce a valuable good or service by specializing in an area in which he or she is at the least disadvantage and producing something of a real value to others. Suppose it is you are concentrating in the area of pen making. Okay. You are making ink pen. That's your area. Just like Omega watches, or what's the other one? The famous brand. Yeah? Rolex I was thinking. Yeah, the Rolex watch, for example. Yeah, they're specialists, There are so many watchmakers, but Rolex will never go out of market. Why? They specialize in certain area. So the same way, there may be a cake shop. They specialize in certain kind of cakes that's available only there, nowhere. So you will go there. You won't go anywhere else. You want that type of cakes, special cakes, you will go there. You know you can get it there. But somebody else may be specialized in a tea cake, okay, marble cake. You know, they will go there. They know that I can get it there. So free enterprise and competition, what it does is the finest product will be produced by everybody. Then only they can survive in the market. So everybody will be every day improving the quality of their product. That's what free market will do. Think about the days when we only had ambassador car. Why ambassador car went out of market? They never increased their quality. There was a time people were to buy what they sell. They could say, if you want to take it or get out. Well, you couldn't go anywhere else. You know, you need a car. So you bought it. Well, free market came in. Now every day everybody is increasing. Like every day a new brand, a new model is coming. What are they doing? Fuel efficiency, inside comfort, secure safety system. So many systems they are increasing. They have research in every area. You know, there are engineers who are working only on fuel and efficiency. What system? Injecting the fuel, or this system, that system. You know, they are doing research on that one every day. There are engineers who are doing only on the safety system, you know. Everything. So what are doing it? This is free enterprises always increases the quality of the product. The competition is in the quality. In the quality. So everybody, the customer gets better quality and the owner or the producer gets more profit because the people come there. There are people who go into the, for example, you know, everybody has their brand. Say some people go to the Raymond. That's the only brand. Some go to the Zodiac. I don't like the name Zodiac because it's a bad connotation. But they make good shirts. Some people go there. Some people go to, you know, some other brand. There's so many brands. Some people go to a particular tailor, you know, only from that tailor because he stitches, you know, custom made. It fits him exactly. So he will buy the brand of, you know, textile from whatever shop he wants, you know, then he will come and stitch it there. So what you get is, you know, there is bust. There are some specialized in children's clothing. Some specializes in ladies' clothing. Some specializes in gents' clothing. You know, different. So when you become a specialist, you are an expert in it. Just like it is, you know, cardiologist, urologist, nephrologist and all these things, the specialists come in. There was a time when everybody did everything, you know, it's an MBBS doctor, LMB or RMB, they will treat everything. They only had a yellow liquid and a red liquid, you know, they will shake the bottle and whatever disease they will give it. You know, before going, the patient will say, I want to get the red liquid. The red medicine, you know. I remember in my childhood going to an RMB doctor, that is the only doctor in our area at that time, you know, a registered medical practitioner. 3 years, some studies from some institute they get. LMB is only 2 years, licensed medical practitioner. They were the doctors. They did, you know, because those days, you know, we didn't have so many diseases, and if they had so many diseases, people died also. So, you know. That's what happened, people died also. Yes, only survived. Only those who survived, and those who survived, they have better health. You know, 6 children or 7 children out of 10, you know, infant mortality rate was very high. So, you know, 6 will die, only 3 or 4 will survive, and those 4 will be healthier, you know. And so they didn't need that many, and then we didn't have all these, you know, food adulteration and all these things. So people were eating good food and all that. But now, if there is an RMB or LMB, he will starve to death, you know, because nobody will go. Even an MBBS doctor, he is starting a private practice, will have a hard, difficult time. You know, they will be junior doctors, you know, in some hospitals, you know, and that's what they will be. Today, even an MD doctor is having fine. They want DM and, you know, all these other super specialization. That's it. So private enterprises, that is what it does. You know, private enterprises promotes, you know, competition, and very healthy competition. It gives self-worth and, you know, fits in the Christian worldview much better, much better. And individuals find that they can be more successful in a free market with the private enterprises, this competition, because they can focus their energies on producing what is beneficial to the society as a whole. This enables more goods available in all, to the poor also benefited. Now with supermarkets and all coming, actually the poor people are benefited more, because they cannot be exploited by a dealer, because they are poor. Otherwise you go to a market and shop and you ask for rice and they will always give you the bad rice, or this and that. But now you go and pick up your own rice, your own packet. It is not packed for the poor or the middle class or the upper class. It's packed for everybody. There are different brands. You want to buy whatever brand you can buy. You are benefited much better. Your wide choice. Sometimes you even stand there and you don't know which one to choose. There's so many brands, so many things. You don't know which one to choose. So you can try different weeks, different things until you settle on any one brand. So private enterprise is definitely very, very, very biblical. Only in a potential economy, a plentiful economy, the poor could be benefited. This is why anywhere there is restrictions, in trade and movement, the poor always suffer. Yes. When government says that, sugar will be sold, who suffers most? The rich will go anywhere and buy at any price. The poor will suffer, the poor cannot. That's always the result. So on the other hand, those who believe in socialism are always at the mercy of this social interest and has to bear the shock of the social scarcity. The principle of
Like these international brands coming in and open market.
encourage it.
No, people will buy the international products which are made here or even available here, and the money is finally going to the foreign nation.
Well, why can we take our products to the foreign nation and their money come here? Yeah, software and all. If America says no software from India, no, it's going both ways. When we say our product should go but their product should not come, that's not ethics. So you open the whole market. The whole market. The only way you can survive is by competing and by improving the quality. We should make the finest quality so that they have it to depend on us to get that product. That's the way. So this is a healthy competition, I say. Indian cars are now being, exported to Europe and African countries. Yeah, what's wrong with it? I have seen even one of our rear engine auto in Washington. I have a picture somewhere. Last time when I went, we were going and there parked an auto, it's a private auto. Some American came to India, he traveled in the auto, he thought this is very nice and cool. Sides are opened, air coming in and going. And so he imported one there, And we have taken picture on it. And he is maintaining it nicely. So it's a conversational piece there, An advertisement of our advanced technology also. Parked next to, their Cadillac and their, all the other cars, the Japanese cars is Indian. Yeah. But you go to American markets, all best shirts, they're from India. The fabric, India has captured the fabric market. It's all Indian brands.
Even the Harley Davidson leather jacket is made in America.
Yeah, well, in Andheri, what is wrong with it? If the Andheri people can make nice leather jackets, they have nice products. Accidentally, I stopped in one of those shops. They have real nice leather jackets and bags and all those things. They have different prices too. On one was price was marked 5,000, 6,000 or some one article, and I said how much it cost at 2,000. I said it's 5,000. That's for foreigners. That's the lady said. When international tourist comes away, that's the price for which. But Indian customers come, it's 2,000. Isn't that in a sense cheating? Because you won't find that in most other countries. One price for all. One price for all. So the thing is, we can compete in many things. We should be, that's good. So I encourage. Let not our government come in between and, saying you cannot import this, you cannot export that. See China, what are they doing? They are dumping actually. Dumping is against international rule, And dumping is against it. The dumping means you are selling a product outside your nation cheaper than what you sell at home. That's called dumping. So it's not allowed. Internationally it's not. If a shirt is sold in America $50, then you cannot sell the American shirt here less than equivalent of $50. If you sell it, then that's it. That's a wrong trade practice. But China is dumping. Oh, definitely. Their market, they have captured the whole market. Their products are not really quality products, but you know what's the secret? They're good-looking products. Yeah. You cannot see a single, whether it's a torch or a pen or it's a piece of furniture. They are excellent looking, but they will last only for a short time. So those who have the lust of the eyes, they are always those who have the pride of life, they won't buy it. I buy bookshelves and all from there because I don't have the big money to buy a shelf. I need to keep my books there, So is it the pride of, is it lust of my eyes? Well, I already find some of the things that I find, the things are dropping, what they call the yeah, that thing. So they're cheap. They're nice looking, but they're cheap. But the thing is, one of my friends from States came, Mr. Sorensen. He was the sales manager and the purchase manager for a large we have been talking about our Christian worldview and economics. Economics is not simply something concerning making money or using money. It governs a whole way of life. How in the society people relate to material things and people relate with people, the rich and the poor, the distribution of the wealth, the freedom for enterprises, and many things we have been considering. The Bible makes it very clear that poverty is not always the result of exploitation by the rich. This is a wrong assumption the sociologists and the Marxists have made. The reason why there are so many poor people is because the rich people exploit them. But that's not true at all. That's not true. There may be many cases where poverty is due to exploitation by the rich. However, the Bible points out that it's not always exploitation, Let's read Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6 through 11. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6 through 11. Someone could also read Proverbs 13:4 and Proverbs 24:30 to 34 and 28:19. Somebody read 6 through 11.
Go to an ant, O sluggard, observe her ways and be wise. Which, having no leave, officer or ruler, prepares her food in the summer and gathers her provision in the harvest. How long will you lie down, O sluggard? When will you rise from your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest. Your poverty will come in like a vagabond, and your need like an armed man.
So why poverty comes? There is no richer to exploit this case. It's because of slothfulness, laziness. You know, there are people who are not prone to work hard and honest. They don't use opportunities. What are we to learn from the ants? The ants use every opportunity to make food. That's what the ants do, you know. The summer provides them plenty of opportunity for food everywhere. The grains will be on the ground, and so you can see the ants very busy. Very few ants will be seen in the summer inside the buildings, but when the winter comes, you can see them all inside because outside it is all wet. So, you know, our poverty will go deeper and deeper if we don't learn these lessons and shape up ourselves. So just to blame that, oh, it's all exploitation, see, they're all becoming rich at the cost of the poor, is not correct. It's not. Proverbs 13, verse 4.
The soul of the lazy man desires and has nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made rich.
The soul of the diligent shall be made rich. You know, soul of this sluggish man, you know, he desires, but he doesn't work accordingly, you know. So what says that it's not the desire alone that produces, it is honest, consistent, hard work. The rich wants to make money, and the rich are always looking for opportunity to make money. You can see business people, how they make money. Business people are not sitting at home and make money, you know, they are where the money is. There they go, they make money. So blaming somebody is not the solution to the problem. Chapter 24, verses 30 to 34, all similar verses. Proverbs 24, 30 to 34.
I went past the field of the sluggard, past the vineyard of the man who lacks judgment. Thorns had come up everywhere, the ground was covered with weeds, and the stone wall was in ruins. I applied my heart to what I observed and learned a lesson from what I saw. A little sleep, a little slumber, holding up the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a bandit and scarce you like an armed man.
Again, as you pass through the field of a lazy man, what do you see? Thorns and thistles growing. His fences are all broken down. You know, but the diligent one, even though he has less acreage of land, you know, he produces optimum from there. The other man enjoys sleep, you know. A little more sleep, a little more sleep. The truth is that anybody who loves sleep cannot prosper. Whether it is in education, whether it is in spiritual areas, whether it is there. Nobody has become better by sleeping more hours. And of course our body needs sleep. I am not saying that, you know, we don't sleep, but, you know, a healthy person doesn't need more than 6 hours. You know how many hours our politicians are getting sleep? Our prime ministers and all? Very few. Between 2 and 4 hours, they are living for years and years with that sleep. But they sleep those hours, they know how to. Even sitting down somewhere, you know, they can get a very comfortable sound sleep for 5-15 minutes. Most of the people just roll on the bed this way, that way, this way, that way. It takes an hour and a half to get to sleep, then it takes another hour and a half to get out of sleep. So 3 hours go right there. Somebody who has trained, in 5 hours they go to sleep. And in 2 minutes they get out. 2 minutes. The others, the alarm goes off, goes off, goes off, goes off. You know, repeated alarm set and it goes off, goes off, goes off. Then they say that there's something wrong with the alarm, you know. So Solomon is saying that prosperity does not come by that. No, it's all hard work. You know, time is money. Honestly, time is money. For any trade, time is money. If a tailor spends more hours in tailoring, that's money. If a blacksmith spends more time, that's money. If a doctor spends more time, that's money. Anywhere in the world, time is money. So those who are sleeping, what are they doing? They are really, wasting money by laying down on their bed more hours. Yeah. So our young people needs to be trained from childhood. Of course, children needs 8 hours sleep. Very young children, 12 hours, 10 hours, and depending. But somebody who become, past the teenagers and start, from then on, they need 6 hours maximum. Once you become, 4 hours sleep is more or less enough. Yeah, you can, it's a matter of training your mind, that's all. It's true, but, the body chemistry may be different for different people, honestly. Some people need more. Especially if you got diseases like tuberculosis and some others, you need 10 hours, 12 hours sleep. The body needs that rest for recuperating. But average healthy person, most of the cardiologists, I have heard some of the famous, world famous cardiologists say that you don't need more than 4 hours of sound sleep. Average person takes an hour to get into sleep, to get out of sleep. A good sleeper, it takes only 5 minutes to get to sleep. If he snores, you can hear him snoring in 5 minutes. And the way he comes out. That's sound sleep. That's the only sleep the body is benefited from. The other body is not benefited from that one. Besides, all kinds of bad thoughts come to your mind, and you're thinking about, what profit is there? So Solomon was right that, he passed through the field of a sluggard, and what did he see? Broken fences, and all thorns and thistles growing. What is he doing? When everybody is working in the field, little more sleep, little more sleep, little more sleep, little more slumber, little more sleep, it's very, very, very nice, you can cover yourself a little bit and, oh, it's so nice. But that's not the way to be. So it's no use in blaming the rich, because the rich are becoming richer because they are working harder. Chapter 28, verse 19.
He who works his land will have abundant food, but the one who chases fantasies will have filled of his poverty.
That's right. If you work honestly, your land will provide you plenty of food. But all night you are there mourning, fantasizing. You can fantasize about this and that, and even you can fantasize about a big harvest. But when you come to your senses, your poverty only has increased. So we needed to come to realities. Of course, accidents or injuries, illnesses, such things could bring poverty, but they are exceptional. But more often, poverty is the result of slothfulness and misuse of resources. There is no question about it. Secondly, in free market system, the wealthy ordinarily create more wealth. That's the principle. Wealthy ordinarily create more wealth in the free market. Why? Because whatever resources they have, they are using it. They are putting into more business. What the wealthy may be doing is to use the free market system to multiply more effectively the goods and services available. That usually is. Somebody had one cow, in the free market system you are able to buy the cows you want, so very soon you will see that you have a second cow, a third cow, you have a dairy farm, then you branch out, you may have another one, you have a chicken farm, you have this and that, you start your own meat processing unit, your milk processing unit. That's the way it is. Yes. It's all result of good intelligent planning and hard work. Actually, it's not the capital you need. You don't need capital. These days, anybody can get loan from banks. The problem is, you take the loan, and if you don't know what to do with it, then then the bank will come and get everything, away what you have. But people can take loans. Reliance Industry, the Ambani, original Ambani, what was his name, Yeah? Yeah, the Ambani, he has borrowed 1 lakh rupees. I have read his biography somewhere. He borrowed 1 lakh rupees from somebody. That was his capital. With that one, he has built this fortune. Yes? With 1 lakh rupees, somebody, gives 1 lakh rupees to somebody else. Money is gone and the man is also gone. That's the situation. So it's the intelligent use of the resources. That's why rich become richer. So the rich people employ their brain and their mind and their money, and begin to produce more. That in turn create more opportunity for rich and poor alike. When free market system work effectively, the gold of the rich will be turned to jobs and goods. This is very true. That's why they say the rich becomes richer because they employ. But intelligently, any hard-working, honest laborer working for this rich man's business enterprise, in all probability in another 5-10 years he will be starting his own business somewhere. Yes. That's the way it is. He will not be working for that person all his life. And that person may not want also to work. I had actually a relation in Kerala. He passed away. He had printing press, one of the early printing press. So he gave job to many people. He will say, I give you job only for 5 years. You have to learn your trade, move out and start your own press. Later, some of the biggest presses in Kerala are today operated and owned by people who work for him. Of course, he doesn't, or his children doesn't have a press anymore. They closed down that. So people told me that everybody who worked for that uncle, they are all rich and they all have printing press and, offset presses and this and that. But that's a way to really properly, do things. The businessmen, actually what they do, the industrialists and businessmen, they are producing more industries and more business people. You go any part of our town, the same kind of business are all in one area, all textiles, all jewelry shops and all leather shops and all, medical shops. That's the way it is. Medical shops one after one. See, where there is better competition, the sales become better. That's a philosophy. Where the competition is heavier, because you know how to compete, there are classes of people who want certain type of material. Certain rich ones only very, very expensive, clothes. They will get it there. Of course, some people don't know the difference between expensive and other one. They only measure by money. I had a friend who had textile shop. He said some ammachis from very rich families will come and they will give these old times, this, Versti and Kachamuri and Nehru and all. Ammachi say that this is 200 rupees. I said, don't you have something better? Yeah, Ammaji. So he will go upstairs and bring another one of this, say 400 rupees. Yeah, why didn't show me this one first? Ammaji does not know the difference between the two. Only she measures good things by money. Yeah, that's a business world. That's business. If Ammachi doesn't want 200 rupees thing, we got 400. If that's not enough, we got plenty of 800 ones upstairs. Wherever there is good competition, business, because we have poor people, middle class people, rich people, very rich people, and they're all actually, buyers for different products. We don't produce our own, products, we all buy. So there is market, so have plenty of good competition, They are better. If you find a shop alone there, only one medical store or one jewelry shop, you won't see a crowd there. They usually bypass this, they say we can go there, there are many shops there. Because we got, pick and choose and all that things. Where there is no competition, people are also cheated. There's only one shop, you have to buy what they give. There are many shops, you can compare product with products. And also shopkeepers are, more concerned about their customers, because they will walk to the other shop. You have the better bargain. And they are also concerned. So, more shops and more competitions means better. The capitalism produces that. In capitalism, monopoly, of course, now most countries won't allow monopoly. Even you have to pay extra tax for monopoly. You cannot. They have made systems. You cannot even have copyright or patent for a product for more than certain years, then you have to make it public. Yes, that's the rule. You invent a medicine, discover medicine or something, only 10 years or something you can have patent, and then you have it to made available to everybody. Because governments no more wants, even capitalist society don't want monopoly, because monopoly is at the disadvantage of the public. Competition should be there. So in capitalist system, the number of millionaires multiply every year. Every year, If capitalism means exploitation, then the number of the poor will be increasing every year. And the rich, the number of millionaires will not be coming, because somebody will be becoming very rich. Because this is all exploiting people. Then the exploiting people is what? You are swallowing the small fishes, and then only one big fish will left. But that's not true, Everybody. In India also, the number of millionaires every year, crorepatис. There was a time when we say, lakpatis. It's no more. It's all crorepatис now. Every year increasing, every year. Where is all this money, you may wonder that. Well, some honestly making, some dishonestly, but the fact is, in a society where free enterprise is permitted, there is plenty of room for everybody to grow. Plenty of room for everybody to grow. The poor has more opportunity to expand in free market system. Free market system brings in people who takes greater risk in investing their returns, which in turn provide more opportunity for the poor to expand. Wherever there is a free marketing system, people take risk in investing money. You just watch what all kinds of businesses are coming up. In a socialist system, you won't find that. Even the shops will be selling traditional produces only. Your rice and pulses and all that. But in the free market system, you go to their sections where you have, food items, spices and everything from every country of the world. A big supermarket you go. But otherwise what we used to have, only some Indian curry powder, some chili powder and all that. Now you go, you don't know which one to pick. There's so much. There were only 1 or 2 kinds of oils, but now any oil, anyone, you want rice bran, there are so many companies. You want, corn oil, so many companies. You want olive oil, so many companies. The pure from Italy and from Jerusalem and from so many countries they are importing, and in maybe 10 gallons, 10 liters or 15 liters, 50 liters. You want, you pick it up. Things are available. Things are available. So competition is very good. The free system only can bring good materials. Everything, I remember the times when, to have a shoe or something, you have to go to a cobbler, they will take measurements and they will, feed one with 25 kilos where you cannot walk with them. But now you want Italian, you want so many, brand, this and that, anything for cheaper ones or higher prices, you have it there. The free enterprises has opened up our society, So it's so good, I will say. Yes. Most real wealth originates in the minds of individuals in unpredictable and uncontrollable ways. Very interesting, People sit down, think, and then come up with the business proposals, Always people are studying markets and project reports are being made. You go to any bank, big bank, there will be a bundle of applications with the new projects. New projects. You never heard about these projects. There are such businesses there. Anything. So that's a free enterprise permits it. In the socialist system, no, government won't allow it. So they won't allow anybody to grow, and if anybody grow, they cannot show their riches outside. They have to, they have to hide it somewhere from the government, otherwise, the whole question comes. So in socialist economy, the rich are forced to hide their wealth for fear of taxation. The rich hoard their money in foreign banks, in Benami names, stocking up in gold and silver. Money is kept away from circulation. National building up process suffers terribly in the socialistic economy or the Marxian economy. But in the free enterprise, there's plenty of money available. You allow L&D and other different companies to make roads. Wow, how nice roads they make. Of course, they will take, they will collect money from you. But you can always drive in better roads than where only government is making roads. I say government stop making roads and all this system. Government concentrate on police and justice system and military and all. Education and everything, including hospitals, medical, everything will give to the private. Transportation, everything. Even the train, the railway should be privatized. The nation will be much more benefited. KSRTC in Kerala, and I think any other RTC for that reason, is their buses look sad, never wash them, never clean them. You see private vehicles passing by, how nicely they are kept. Latest one, whether it is Mercedes-Benz or Volvo or whatever is the latest, they always have it. But the other one, it takes 13 people to operate one bus in Kerala. They're always eating up government money. Every month 5 crores, 10 crores subsidy, government is giving away. It takes only 3 people to operate a private bus. There is a driver, there is a conductor, and there is what they call them, a helper, whatever. That's it. And every year they are buying more and more buses. The reason is only private enterprises can grow. The government has not learned this one. So there is no nation successful with pure socialism in bringing progress. Communism is tested and fails. Socialism is equally a failure. What is every man's property in essence is no man's property. Socialism suffers for the lack of honest enthusiasm and initiative to produce effectively. There is a fundamental truth that the socialists ignore. What is the truth? Wealth comes more from the mental creativity and physical hard work fostered by free enterprise than from the resources themselves. I repeat, wealth comes more from the mental creativity and physical hard work fostered by free enterprises than from the resources themselves. Resources are often not natural. They more often come from mental application of ideas and energy to raw materials around us. Land in itself produces only weeds and maybe an occasional something. Land under the guidance of a creative farmer and his hard work yields fruits and vegetables for an entire community. That's the reason why farmers are more successful where large acreage of land they have. Where the acreage is less and less, less production. So freedom and economics. Socialism believes in centralized control, but capitalism believes in free market system. What difference these two systems make? Far-reaching differences and ramifications. Number one, socialism takes up many counterproductive projects which essentially eats away the resources. Example, many of the social welfare schemes, the subsidies, free education. How much money government is giving away for free education? What is the return for that? These tribal areas you go, these tribal boys and girls, they get so much money. Government give them every facility. They are given a 12th grade certificate also, but not one of them can write their name. Not one of them write their name. All that money produce nothing. There is no motivation. You get free money, free food and everything. Why should you study? But that's not the case when a poor farmer or a man, takes loan from the bank and sends his child to study, he studies and he becomes somebody. So socialism takes up many counterproductive. All this system of welfare systems and subsidies, and welfare system must be limited to people who are incapable of working because of physical limitations by birth and some situations like that. Otherwise, let people work and earn. Secondly, socialism concentrates upon wealth distribution, while capitalism concentrates upon wealth generation. Socialist always talks about wealth distribution. Oh, they don't want anybody to become rich. They don't want. More taxation, take away more money, give away more money. The capitalist always talks about generation. How can we generate more money, more factories, more employment, better roads, better this, better that? I think I said the story here someday that about the differences between socialism, Marxism and capitalism is, 3 farmers who are having 3 cows, So, socialism, Marx said that, there are 500 homes in this community, only 1 cow. So let's kill the cow and distribute the meat equally for everybody. Okay? So they did it. So socialists said that, okay, let's milk the cow and distribute the milk equally. So for 500 families, 1 cow's milk was distributed. Then after a while, the milk, the cow stopped giving milk. So they said that, well, it's very expensive now to maintain the cow for the next 10 months. It needs fodder and this and that. So let's sell the cow and distribute the money. So they sold the cow and distributed the money. So the capitalist, what did he do? Yes, he had 1 cow and he milked it, and then he bought 1 bull also. So very soon the 1 cow become 2, become 4, become 8, become 16, become 32, and he has a big, and he employed people, more people employed. So they all got employment. The whole community got plenty of milk. So then more milk than the community needed. So milk has to be transported to somewhere else. So he bought a milk tanker, and then a driver, then, a cleaner, so employment. And then, this goes like that. So, very soon what happened, the whole state has plenty of milk. That's the way the capitalist thinking, socialist, distribution. What are you going to distribute? Talk about producing something. No, don't talk about distribution first, produce something. Otherwise, your distribution will stop because you are not generating wealth. So,
there are cooperative systems.
Yeah, some of them are working. For example, our Korean, the milkman, his cooperative society work very well, but that's a different system of every individual owns his own cattle. Yeah, and they give money for buying the buffaloes, and the milk will be brought there, and they started factory, the Milma units, what you call the Amul. The Amul, they make everything, butter, cheese, milk powder, what all, they are exporting it all over the world. So that's very good. That's another form of business. Instead of each farmer selling his milk to somebody, say we will make a centralized system where you bring the milk. That way what happened, you will get maximum money. So they are selling it. So that's that really not necessarily the socialistic system, though it has an appearance. It's a form of capitalism. Yes. I don't know how Amul is making nowadays. The Korean is gone, right? Yeah, he's gone. Yeah. He started in Bombay. He first came for interview in Bombay, and a story said that there was in Bombay the milk society owned by the Britishers at that time. So the question was asked, you know what is pasteurization? So he said, well, I guess it has to something to do with milk. Said, you are appointed. But the people who came before interview, I don't know what answer they gave. But that was he had that much sense at least, because this is a milk company, so they must be asking some question about milk. So it has to do something with milk, yes. But he is, the white revolution. There is a green revolution, Swaminathan. There are so many revolutions we have. Praise God, I said that for these men who have ideas, Yes. So in socialism, they also emphasize price fixation, production control, resource rationing. These are all wrong, Price fixation, production control, resource rationing. While capitalism emphasizes healthy competition of production and marketing which will control quality and price. They will take their productions to anywhere where there is a demand. They operate on the demand and supply, that's their ratio, the demand-supply formula. There the government will be fixing all prices. Why should government fix price for rice and pulse and all? Let the people sell at whatever price they want. If people don't want it to buy, what will they do? They automatically will reduce. Government was fixing the price of petrols and all that. Now they left it to the company. So there is frequently you hear that some increase, some decrease according to the international, market. Otherwise, what government will do? Government always increasing. That was what happened with the former government. They were always increasing LPG price, this price, that price, all that. The situation in the world market never reflected here, honestly. Never. But now that's not the case. Any product, any item, when the international price goes down, here also price should go down. But when government does the fixation, it's injustice. The Kerala rubber farmers wanted government to, fix price at 150. Okay, why should? When it is sold at 110 in Malaysia, why can't the tire factories go and buy from there and sell the tires at a lesser price? We should not be looking at the interest of a segment of the people. That's not the policy of the capitalism. So socialism always operates on this protection. Any protection you give, even you overprotect your child, that child will be less healthy mentally and physically. Let the child defend himself. Learn how to live in this world. Can the parents always go and protect the child? No. So we needed to teach our children from beginning on. And in the home also should give better, competition for children to produce more. Children should not be competing necessarily with each other. They should be competing against their own abilities and opportunity. That's all we have to teach. So socialism's the emphasis of price fixation, production control, resource rationing. They are not encouraging in any way. If government will say that tomorrow rice cannot be sold below 30 rupees kilo, who suffers? The people suffer. Who else? When the whole market everywhere in Bangladesh and Pakistan and Sri Lanka, rice is sold for 20, why should the people in India buy for 30 rupees? The businessmen, wholesale business people here should be able to go and buy plenty of rice for the cheaper rice and supply there. They are interested only in their profit. They get their profit, whatever it is, That they give. In price fixation, business people also have no motivation because government won't give the margin very much. They will fix only 2% profit only. Who will do a business for 2% profit? Nobody. So then what happens? Government with all its corrupt officials and bureaucracies, they will never be able to procure enough material for people and distribute them honestly and fairly. Never. whatever the ration system or anything in India, whatever the government is doing, that system is not operating efficiently. It suffers. So, I may sound like, people think that, well, I'm not against socialism, but socialism has its problems. The socialist government, in socialism, government will decide how a person's money is to be spent, what to buy and what not to buy. While capitalism does not interfere in the spending or the utilization of one's resources. One could use it for any purpose, not counterproductive to the national interest. That's all. You wanted to buy a Mercedes Benz or a Rolls Royce, you got money, honestly produce money, you go buy. You only want to buy a Maruti Alto, go and buy. It's your freedom. It's your freedom. Why should government say that nobody can buy any vehicle more than 6 lakhs rupees? Why should government say? So what's the motivation of people making money? The government will say all those things that nobody can spend more than 20,000 rupees per month. Well, let somebody live for 5,000, somebody live for 20 lakhs. He has to make his money. Any nation is benefited by spending more. Any nation is benefited by spending more. The saving benefits because it gives government more money for spending, If people are spending and buying and spending, not saving in the banks, then government cannot borrow money. Government has to borrow money from other resources. However, spending is what booms the business. If nobody buys a shirt, everybody buys a shirt once a year. What will do all these, textile companies and all? The chicken business, the chicken business is booming like anything. Now, of course, bad news has come with the antibiotics and all, so people are a little more cautious. Otherwise, that, you see truckloads of chicken being transported everywhere. And in Tamil Nadu, you go to some places, what is the name of that place where all the chicken comes? Namakkal, Chicken there. Well, that's big business there. Any business like that. So, the spending is what bring more money and more businesses, more employment, more tax for the government also. More tax for the government. 50 years back, government did not get any tax from chicken because people were raising their own chicken at home, once in a while killing, some guest comes. So what tax government got? And government didn't get any tax on eggs also. Because everybody had 2 or 3 chicken and, that's the egg you pick up and government gets no tax. But now, how many? Truckloads of eggs and chicken coming and government is getting so many crores of rupees of taxation. In my childhood, well, how many oranges people ate every day? Apples, peaches, plums, cherries, berries, strawberries, this, that. Now stores are loaded with these things. People are buying. So the fruit market, how much tax government get? Let people eat more fruit, they are healthier and government get more money. And more business people get more profit also. So the free enterprise is there. So government, socialistic government will always limit the freedom of the people in spending money. And now government is thinking, how much money you can spend for your marriage. At least in some states that's a talk these days, how much money. We should put a higher ceiling on the amount of money you could. Why should you put a ceiling on money? You don't need to. You don't need to. A Christian is not going to spend all money on marriage and all that because that's not his, A non-Christian, let them spend. Let a lot of people live on them. That's what they say, let a lot of people live on them. Because more shamiana you put, more money for that line. More chairs you put, there's money on that line. So why should you say that only 10 chairs could be put for a marriage? You don't need to say that, In principle, that's what government is saying. Leave it open. Let people decide. Let people decide. Socialism emphasizes taxation. They want maximum to be taken from individuals from taxation. Not much money to be put for expansion. Capitalism always wanted to put more money in the hands of the capitalist so that he could expand his business. More employment could be generated. Expansion of business means more, generation of more job. Capitalism reduces tax so that the resources and the savings could be invested in more and more business to provide more employment and more goods and services to society. Capitalism operates upon the principle you earn your right to consume through honest work, etc. Socialism attempts to alleviate poverty, etc. through, doling out what others have produced. That's what they show. You work hard and produce, government takes it and give it away to people who are lazy. That's what it is. What percentage of a nation's money is going for, for treating people who have diseases and accidents related to alcoholism, for example? Crores and crores of smoking related diseases, drinking related, all the accidents and all other diseases that are coming. Where does money come from? There are people who do not smoke and drink. They work hard. Their money is taken and given out to these people. I'm saying why should? Why should a hard-working farmer's money to be given away to a lazy drunkard? Because he beats his wife, he kicks his children, and therefore government has to treat them. The government should not be doing it. So capitalism, operates upon your right to earn and to spend, consume, and to expand. Socialism thrives on controls. Capitalism thrives on minimum interference and maximum liberty. The Lyasa principle, minimum government. The Lyasa principle, remember I said that the French Revolution has brought in a principle, minimum government. The maximum government. The government should be doing minimum. Just the army securing our borders, and then police to keep the bad elements out, to arrest the wrong people and all that kind of things, Let people do. We will have more gentlemen if government won't interfere. Of course there are thugs, land mafias and all that. And if government gives permission for everybody, you spend your money and all the government has to do is withdraw all the 500 rupee notes. One bright morning say 500 rupee notes are withdrawn. All these mafias will go break. What they will do, because everybody has plenty of money piled up, business people. Government from time to time should withdraw the existing currency. They should be ready with the new ones and secretly, But our bureaucracy, they are cheaters. They will leak the news out. So that's the problem. So when the individual and the society lives on their own labor and resources, they will have better say even in the running of the government. There will be a healthy relationship between the people and the government, because you producing and government is benefited by reasonable taxation and all that. What government must ensure is no unethical business is allowed. No unethical business. Business should be honest. Books must be maintained, honestly. And that sort of control should be there. Christian worldview embraces democratic free market system where peaceful exchange of goods and services take place. The Bible grants mankind the right to private property with the principle of stewardship. Every person is free to work or to do business as well as under the duty to ensure that freedom for others also. The Bible teaches that every person is duty bound and free to employ both God-given opportunities and God-given abilities in a manner most suitable for his personality and for the biblical purposes. That's what everybody, we don't expect everybody to be a businessman, no. We need other people. We need engineers, doctors, farmers. We need people to climb coconuts. We need people to cut hair. If government will control the barbers, I don't know what we'll do. Government will have one barber shop for a community, So what sort of a haircut you will get? Now you can go anywhere you want, get your haircut. I like the free society. Governments say that everything is government controlled. No. So the Bible does not teach that. The Bible teaches that taxes, customs, duties need to be paid duly to the governments, by the citizens. Romans chapter 13 and all. The laissez-faire system of government is ideal in free market society, while socialism, have greater interference on every aspect of life, eventually Marxism leading to totalitarian government. The Marxian economics, total control of men, material and mechanism, is absolutely a wrong principle. Capitalism encourages individuals to invest more, to produce more, to distribute more, so that more money, more employment, more opportunity, etc. will be created for more people. Socialism tends to move towards more and more governmental controls and less individual rights. Capitalism prevents the government from taking over unnecessary controls. The champion of communism, Frederick Engels, commented, listen, that's what he said. If some few passages of the Bible may be favorable to communism, the general spirit of the doctrine is nevertheless totally opposite to communism. Karl Marx and Frederick Engels, Collected Writings, volume number 3. Page 399, published by international publishers. I quoted from another book. Engels. Marx and Engels, they together, formulated the principles of communism, No, what is he's talking about Bible. He said that there are a couple of passages that may sound like encouraging Marxism, but Bible as a whole encourages capitalism. So he's against Bible. He's against Bible. But he was honest to say that. The dishonest communist will come and say that the Bible and Jesus Christ, teach communism. But Angel said that's not true. That's not true. There are a couple of verses that may sound like. But the general spirit of the Bible teaching is it's against socialism and Marxism. It encourages only free private enterprises. The Christian worldview embraces democratic capitalism, the free and peaceful exchange of goods and services. For a number of reasons, it's a better system. The biblical view of private ownership of property, coupled with the individual stewardship of the proper use of the property, generates more resources for the whole community. Moreover, Christian stewardship of property presupposes Christian freedom to use property for whatever ethical purpose one is convinced to use the property. See, for example, in America, it's a free capitalist society. The people can send money to any part of the world for any purpose, as long as that purpose is not unethical. You go to any other communist country or socialist country, you cannot spend any money to anywhere. That's the control. That's the control. How many crores and crores and crores of billions of dollars are being every day, doled out to all over the world for all kinds of purposes. Social, charitable, religious, and this and that, so many kinds. That's the freedom of the free enterprises. You make the money, you decide where you want to spend. They want to send money to India for some, maybe cancer hospital, $1 billion they can send. American government won't say no. It's your money, you decide. That's their system, So capitalism outsmarts socialism in creating social justice. The equality that capitalism creates is not one where everybody lives in the same size of house, or in everybody having the same money in the bank, or everybody wearing the same kind of clothes. It is an equality where everyone is equally free to take up a job he likes, to buy a house he wants, and to put clothes he wants, to do some business he wants, to educate his children the way they want. It is the equality before law. It's equality before law. That's what the Bible also teaches. Nowhere the Bible says that every Christian in the church must have the same kind of house or same amount of property or same amount of eat the same food. No, it doesn't. But everybody's needs must be met. Nobody should be dictating to somebody else. Every believer is free to do whatever work he wants. Build whatever home he wants, to do whatever business he wants, and to give his money for whatever purpose, as long as that purpose is a biblical purpose, of course. Not for anti-national work and terrorism and all that. So capitalism, when it operates right, guarantees all citizens the freedom to life, the freedom to property, the freedom to religion, etc. True capitalism believes in ownership, production, distribution, etc. Without the government controls, unnecessary government controls. It believes in minimum governance. The Christian who accepts the Bible will also accept the divine mandate to private ownership and personal freedom to use what one owns. The Mosaic economics is the ideal economics in the world. God gave the land to people. People were to use the land on a stewardship. Maximum utilization of the land, minimum waste of resources, producing enough to share with the needy, honoring God with a fair share of the income, and supporting the widows and the orphans and the other needy ones. God said, I will bless you. That's what the Bible teaches. So it's sad to see sometimes many Christians I have seen, they have membership in some Marxist union and all that, and they believe that Marxism is a blessing of God. They almost sounds like after Jesus Christ, Karl Marx is the savior of the world. How can they think like that? You have some questions, discussions you wanted to, because, we are talking about money, and sometimes, growing up in India, we have more of a socialistic thinking than the free enterprise thinking. That's basic to our system, because we were bred, like that,
So since the whole world is a free market, so then it keeps on growing. From where the wealth is coming?
That's a good question. Where the wealth is coming from, or where the wealth is going to? The world has resources, I don't think there is any nation who has exhausted his resources. No. Even India including. Our wealth is not even tapped. For example, take the Gulf countries. Those people were shepherding sheep. They were shepherding sheep and all that. Who found out that, they were complaining that everywhere sand and only what is this sand and sand and sand, sand, there is not a drop of water, nothing. So what, the Britishers and the Americans came and found that it's not only sand, underneath the sand there is oil, there is so much oil and petrol and all that, and so look at the nature of that one. The same thing, Palestine was, for almost 2000 years it was only used by those people for shepherding, sheep and all. Now in 1948 a piece of that property was given into the hand of the Jew. Look what. There were how many crores and billions of dollars worth flowers they are selling. You know that? I read that. I don't remember the amount, but few years ago they have sold so much flowers. And these flowers from where? The land that was barren, they said. They will pump water from the Dead Sea and all the fertilizers they will use there. They will pump it from there and irrigate. And it's all there, so their resources are not being used, For example, take India has the largest number of livestock in the world. The largest number of livestock. But a large number of the livestock, how much milk they give? Per capita milk production in India is the lowest. Our cow gives the minimum. As opposed to you go to cow in some other European countries, like Sweden and Switzerland and New Zealand and America and all these countries, and the cows are giving so much milk, they don't know what to do sometimes, that much. So why we have all these cows that are, not productive? People say they're holy cows, okay? Well, this sort of. how much the rats are eating. The kabutar, in Bombay, how many tons of wheat they are being fed. What's the use of these birds? Do they contribute anything to our economy? Anything to our economy? When we are living in the desert, you can see places where, tens of thousands and thousands of these birds are fed by people coming and they're throwing all these, wheat and all these, and their people are starving. So that means where it come from, it is here. I say we are sleeping our fortunes. We are sleeping our fortunes. Yes.
Until capitalism, didn't they exploit workers?
That's coming back. How do they? Let me ask this one.
Long hours of work.
Yes. Yeah. Would you rather, if you get an opportunity to go to America, do you go there or you go to Russia? Where there is no exploitation.
American.
Why you go to the exploiting nation?
Less exploitation.
So you haven't thought through the issue. If you get a job in the Reliance industry somewhere, will you work that one or you will work in a small shop here?
Reliance.
Why? The exploitation. So you are becoming a party to the exploitation, right?
So then what's the solution?
Well, there is no exploitation. There is no, because in Tata's or Birla Industries or any of these big industries, the employees are much better paid than the smaller industries, definitely. The multinational, international schools that are operating very well, their teachers are paid much better than the teachers in the small schools. But they have to be more qualified, they have to, in the input should be more. So where is the exploitation?
There are engineering institute which pays more than IITs.
Yes, see that? That's the way it is. You talk about good hospitals even there are government hospitals. There are, big hospitals, there are, where will you go there? Of course they charge more money, but why do you go there? Because you are playing with your life usually in a small clinic there. You go for some problem with your left leg, they will amputate your right one. That happens many times. Yes. Definitely that's